Let's remember together some of the greatest TV and movie stars of yesteryear with the woman who knew them. Mary Jane Popp hosted radio and TV shows for nearly 5 decades, meeting these stars and getting them to share their real-life stories. You'll meet them up close and personal as Mary Jane searches her extensive archives for the best and brightest real star talk on Pop Star Talk. And here she is, Mary Jane Popp.
Got another winner for you this week on Pop Star Talk. Hi, Mary Jane Popp with you. And this one goes back to an era from the great oldies. Now with me to share the real stories of radio and TV is my producer, Kenneth Segura Knoll, who can really appreciate how these oldies but goodies dominated radio and television. Hi, Ken. How you doing?
You said I could really appreciate him because I'm old?
Oh, no. It's because you appreciate and you know history about radio and TV. Not at all. But let me ask you this. If I said people are funny and kids say the darndest things, who would that remind you of?
Art Linkletter?
You betcha. You'd be absolutely on target. The one and only Art Linkletter, who brought the beginning of radio and TV to life. And I learned a couple of things in my research because I really didn't know about this one fact when I did my interviews with him, that he was actually from, are you ready for this? Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan in Canada. And then he came to this country, but he had no contact with his natural parents or his sister or 2 brothers since he was abandoned when he was only a few weeks old. And then he was adopted by Mary Metzler and John Fulton Linkletter. His dad was, his adopted dad, was an evangelical preacher. So you never know the background of some of these people and then what they had to go through. He was, during the Great Depression, I love this. He rode trains around the country doing odd jobs and meeting a wide variety of people. And then in 1934, he actually earned a bachelor's degree in teaching from San Diego State Teachers College. Now it's just San Diego State University. But he was great in basketball. He was a good swimmer. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the interview because he still loves sports. He always loved sports. You know, to talk to someone at 95, and I mean sharp as a tack, which I think was wonderful. Didn't you enjoy all the shows that he did? I mean, he did a myriad of shows.
Oh, he did. And do you know he was the only person in TV history to have 5 shows concurrently on network TV?
No kidding. Wow. I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised.
Right. And, you know, there's so many, if you read about him, there's so many unique things about him. You know, I remember him as being the Grand Marshal of the Rose Bowl Parade all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, he was asked by Walt Disney to host the opening of the Disneyland grand opening. And Walt Disney could only afford to pay him a scale. So Linkletter asked for and received the park's camera and film concessions for 10 years.
Wow.
That's how big he was. I mean, that's how he was so entrenched in television.
Well, that's funny that you should mention that because he, Linkletter, actually declined the opportunity offered by Walt Disney to invest in the Disneyland theme park project,
Right.
Along with building and operating the Disneyland Hotel, because Linkletter doubted the park's prospects. But of course, he changed his mind and then, like you said, got involved with them and everything. So, you know, and he knew people that like Ronald Reagan. He actually campaigned for Ronald Reagan when he ran for president, and Bob Cummings, who was another, you know, oldies but goodies. What I loved is that, I don't know, he was part of the group that came from vaudeville, from radio, because he did radio too, but it was live. You know, it wasn't pre-taped and then edited. It's sort of like what we do with Pop Star Talk. It's not really edited. I mean, we just go through like a real live show, and it is a live show. But that's the way it used to be. I mean, sets would fall in, people would forget their lines, and they never stopped. They kept going. But I think it was because they had that stage presence that, you know, live stage teaches you. You can't edit a live stage presence. So this is the way he was. And like I said, the nicest man you'd ever want to meet. I'm so glad I had the opportunity to talk to him before he passed. So anyway, it's just, I have a soft in my heart about him. Another person that I thought was great was Coach John Wooden. Same type of thing. They really cared about people, Ken. I don't know what's happened in the business, but they sure cared about people back then. Don't you think?
Oh yeah. And he wrote a book about old age is not for sissies or something.
Old age is not for sissies. Yep.
That's right.
And he was so
I
right
got
on
I
that.
got to read that book because
Yeah, we talk a little bit about it in the interview, so we'll get to some of that today.
my children keep telling me, quit being a sissy.
You're no sissy. Sissies give up and do nothing. They sit in the corner and don't do nothing. That's not you.
No, it's like they say you got to go check this something medical about myself. Or he said I don't like doctors. Oh, quit being a sissy and go handle your business. Hey, wait a minute. I think you did that to me
I
when I was there.
Yeah, I did. But anyway, okay, Ken. You're going to start telling my secrets too, right? Anyway, now it's time to march back in time through the eyes of this icon. He's called Art Linkletter.
I'd like to show you 3 completely unrelated items. First, an oil can. Next, Sophia Loren, beautiful motion picture star of the screen. And next, a $10,000 check. Now, these 3 items play an important part in telling the story of a fantastic chance for a gas station attendant to become a movie star. You'll see it happen tonight on People Are Funny. People are funny. Ooh, people are funny. Brought to you by New Even.
I'll tell you, those were the days when they had shows that were done live. It was absolutely incredible. Now, kids may also say the darndest things. We'll hear a little bit about that later on. But my next guest has said it all about entertainment and television. From being an abandoned infant, he became one of TV's beloved icons with credits like People Are Funny, Kids Say the Darndest Things, and House Party, and some 28-plus books under his belt. Art Linkletter, at age 90-plus, I'll let him tell you how old, is still that creative mind, always exploring, always pushing the envelope, and ever present with a book that helps you with life. Like his latest one, How to Make the Rest of Your Life the Best of Your Life. Mr. Linkletter, nice to have you with us on Pop-Off. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for that nice introduction. It reminded me of some very wonderful times.
I'll tell you, you know what? I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. She is a psychic numerologist, and she said, you do realize that Art Linkletter's numbers are all the mind and creative. That's why he's still going at, you're 95 now, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's incredible. So have you always had that drive to create and always come up with something new?
Yes, I always have. At the age of 10, I was running a business in East San Diego of going out and getting lemons at a lemon packing plant that were rejects and washing them in my mother's wash tub, and then having a team of 5 younger guests than 11 out selling door to door and undercutting the markets.
I love it. Now, you were actually adopted because you were abandoned as an infant, correct?
Yes, with no name and no parents and no friends, nothing. The young couple who were not married had come to this little town of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, to have my Hadley, and then they went away.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just lying there, and there was a story in the paper, and the Linkletters. My father was a minister. He was a street minister, an evangelist, and they were in their 50s, late 50s, no children, and he and his wife read the story and came down and adopted me.
That is amazing.
Yes, so we started. I've written 3 autobiographies, and these 3 autobiographies with 3 different lives. The first 20 years of my life, I was a scrambler and a poor kid, very, very poor, homeless at times, a hobo at times, a sailor at times on a sailing ship out of New York. And then the second biography, I became rich and famous. And then the third one was becoming a philanthropist and helping other people for the last 10 or 15 years. And they've all blended together, There's some of them were operating at the same time.
Well, you have always come up with something, something new, something exciting. I mean, I remember watching People Are Funny, and it was like every week you would look forward to that, because what is Art Linkletter going to do this week?
Yes, it was one of the first of the realist shows, the so-called shows involving people doing things that they didn't know what was going to happen.
You bet.
Ralph Edwards had the other one called Truth or Consequences. Mm-hmm. At the time, I had People Are Funny, and we were good friends, but we were competitors, and we did these shows from there on until he died, and I got old.
I just can't imagine what you went through, the different changes. You saw so many things happening during the different eras. You started out when radio was in its heyday.
Yes, and radio was just beginning. It was in 1933.
Wow.
And we didn't have tape. We didn't have, when we started a show called Man in the Street, which was among the first of the realist shows.
Amazing.
Because nobody knew who was going to be on the street, what they were going to talk about. And the prizes in the early games and the early shows were ridiculous, $10 and $5 and a necktie or a trip. And now look what it's gone to. $1 million, $5 million.
Now, how did you handle people? Because you did it. They didn't have delays. They didn't have tape. You were doing stuff live at that time.
Everything was live.
How did you handle people? I mean, they could say things that you couldn't allow.
You just had to handle it. Anything that came up couldn't be erased. It went out as we went on the air, and there was no repeat shows. There were no syndicated shows because it wasn't taped. Mm-hmm. And very little money to work with, and just ingenuity. So we had to think of all kinds of ways to promote prizes. And so when I see the shows that are on the air today, and what they're offering, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, you not only the kids say the darndest things, people will do the darndest things on reality shows today, huh?
Oh, they'll do anything you want to get them to do.
Well, it's that 15 minutes of fame, I guess, huh?
Yes, and I think it's a spirit of adventure here in this country. Always has been.
I want to know, what keeps a man like you, 95, it's hard to even imagine. You're using your mind, you're using your body, and you did have a slight stroke. And by the way, you sound wonderful.
Well, that's good, because I'm getting better. And I'm working on this, and I'll be up and around. And in the meantime, I have meetings on the telephone. I'm sending out things because I'm involved at the moment in one of the biggest things of my entire life.
What's that?
Solar energy.
Really?
I'm the chairman of the board of Solargenics, and it's one of the international solar energy companies. We have just opened a $250 million plant in Las Vegas to produce power for the next 20 years on this one contract. Of course, the sun will be up there forever. And we've our contract. I just returned from a month and a half ago from the Emirates, the
United Emirates.
Yes, the Emirates. And we signed a contract for about $60 million for them to be a minority partner in this company.
Wow.
And and a couple of years ago, I'm the chairman of the board of this company.
Amazing.
So about a couple of years ago, we had our main partner. Our first big partner was Accion, a $1 billion company in Spain, and we're busy doing stuff all over the world.
Wow. That has got to be what keeps you going. You don't look back. You keep looking at tomorrow and what you're going to be doing, right?
Yes, because the fossil age is just about over. And we have to have alternate energy. The world is hungry for energy and water and the supplies of goods like copper.
Yeah, and look at the oil. I mean, my God, did you ever imagine that we would be paying gas prices like $4 plus a gallon?
No, but on the other hand, I guessed that would happen.
Really?
And I started in oil business in 1939, and I have at the present time probably 25 or 30 oil wells scattered all over the world.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I never dreamed, I dreamed of it going to that, but not to $115 a barrel for oil.
You know, I just can't imagine the years that you've gone through, and you're still so viable. What are your secrets? What's your secret to being 95, being as sharp as you are, still doing things, still making a difference in the world?
It's curiosity and what I call lifelong learning. I'm always learning and finding out things from people who are smarter than me. I live with people who are very sharp and who are important people. And, for instance, I'm on intimate terms in Washington, D.C. with the President of the United States on a big program for encouraging volunteering in the United States.
Fantastic.
And I fly back to Washington. I'm on the phone to them when I can't travel for one reason or another. And then I'm chairman of the board of Alzheimer Research Foundation, a big one of the University of California, and that is a huge and terrifying illness that is occupying the minds of the medical world because we can't find a cure for it, and everybody's getting older, and as you get older, your chances of having Alzheimer's disease is after 85 about 50%.
Amazing.
Of the world.
Yeah. And it's almost like an epidemic. I mean, we're having epidemics of things that we never dreamed of.
And we have that for this reason.
Why?
We're getting older, and I'm one of them. When I was born in 1912, I could expect to be, on average, 47 years of age and die.
Yeah.
So I have lived 30 years longer than I have any right to live, and this is happening to millions and millions of people. And as that happens, new diseases come up because of age, and all kinds of wonderful things are discovered about age-old disease like cancer and heart and stroke and other things. So this is a wonderful century to have been inspired by a breed of inventors and laboratories that turned out things we never dreamed. Imagine being able to take a heart that's still in working condition, transferring it from one person to another.
Right.
Or working in the brain and taking half of a brain away and the person gets better.
I'll tell you, what a talent, what a person who just shared his life and just cared so much about his life and the life of others, which I think was absolutely wonderful. So, and I know he's going to mention this, is when I was talking to him, it was, I think, 2007 when I interviewed him when he was 95. He has had, with his wife, the longest marriages of any well-known person in America, 75 years. He passed in 2010. but 75 years they were married. Isn't that incredible, Ken?
Yes, and what's really amazing about him is that there are things in his life that could have just destroyed him
Oh, yeah.
mentally.
Hmm.
He lost a daughter.
Oh, he talks about that.
Yeah.
He's lost 3 of the 5 children that he had.
Yeah, he always, moved forward,
Mhm.
and you look at everything he's done, I can't even imagine having 5 shows happening at one time.
Yeah.
And him and Merv Griffin kind of remind me of each other. So
They were a step ahead of everything else. They looked to future, they looked to exciting things and new and more unique things. And it's just because I guess that's the way their brain worked.
yeah,
They were looking to the unique, something different for the people.
that era is interesting because you had, Lucille Ball and Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah.
They shot the first 3-camera show, and Merv Griffin and Art Linkletter. All these people were just so, they could see the future and go after it,
Mhm.
and they took life as it was given to them and made the most of it.
And came from humble beginnings. I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah.
was adopted, I guess, I don't know if he ever found his natural parents or who they were or whatever, or met them but it didn't matter. They still moved on and did more and more exciting things. But Ken, it's like the old saying, it's not all success and roses. Even though Art Linkletter was at the top of his game, there was a lot of loss in his life. But I'm going to let him tell you in his own words.
I've lost 3 out of 5 children.
Oh, my God. I mean, any parent to have to face their child dying before them has got to be the most horrendous thing you can face in life.
I've had one death by a 30-year-old young man who was very promising in an automobile accident.
Oh, my
I had one death of a 20-year-old, darling, beautiful girl with a contract in the movies, just getting started, suicide.
Ugh.
And I've just lost my 70-year-old son, firstborn, who died from cancer in a long, long 2.5-year fight against chemotherapy and fighting lung cancer. So, you see, I've had every kind of, I've had the shock and I've had the recovery of all the things that you tend to lose, like optimism and humor and everything else.
Sure. But how do you come out on the other side with not being negative the rest of your life? You still have a positive outlook for life. As I said, you're looking forward, not backward.
That's right. That's right. You have a brief life, but you have a wonderful life if you make the most of it. What I say to young people in my lectures, I do a lot of lectures all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I speak at colleges and universities. I'm on the board of regents at Pepperdine University and on the board of the Center on Aging at the University of California. And I'm on all these boards. And what I say is lifelong learning. But you must find as early as you can what you like to do and then do it. Not look what you're going to be making money at or making reputation or fame or any of those or power or any of those things. But what makes life interesting is doing what you really find you'd like to do. Now, if I haven't tried some things that are still interesting, I'm getting ready now. At the starting, it hasn't been announced, but I'm going to build a series of Art Linkletter villages for the minority of people, for the people who can't afford rich villages, and these are going to be all green. What that means is energy and the new inventions and all the things, and of a minimum price, so that they can have things that other people can't. Who have money can afford.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. If you could pick out your greatest achievement, I don't know if you can pick anything out because you've done so many. What would be the greatest achievement you feel in your life?
Well, I can tell you probably the most important agreement is being happily married to the same woman for 73 years.
God bless you. God bless you. Oh.
Because after all, if you aren't happy at home, you aren't. You run into the problems. How you see the young people who see their mothers and dads living screwball lives in motion picture people and TV and all this. As I turn on TV and watch this gossip stuff going on with these young people, they've seen some terrible examples in their own life, and they're following them.
You betcha. I have to ask you, too, though, we're hoping, hope that you're going to live another 20 years. I want to see you get 110, 150, whatever. How do you want to be remembered? Art Linkletter, I remember what?
Well, probably, being remembered isn't what I'm doing this for.
Oh, I know.
But I'll probably be remembered for doing a lot of things that most people don't do. For instance, I've become successful in a number of widely divergent fields, and I've had a lot of very important mentors and all the things that would come from that. But just an indefatigable, curious, adventurous, risk-taking person in business and profession, and a steadfast person in marriage and in the family. The children have never been in any trouble.
Good for you.
You know what I mean?
That's an indication that you have been the father to those children in the correct way, and you've given them the example.
Family was the most important thing in my life.
I believe
I think I'd be remembered by the people who really know me as a guy who's lived a glamorous life in Hollywood without being a part of the life that is not recommended.
Well, I love when you observe that a living is what you get and a life is what you give, and that's what you've done all your life.
Yes, and you have to see that my motto is that things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out.
Right. Oh, and the thing is, I love it. You actually have booked a speaking engagement for July 17, 2012, when you're going to be 100?
Yes.
I want to be there.
I figured that I'd like to live to be 100, and I never dreamed earlier that I could be even close to it. But then all of a sudden, here I am, 96, almost 96 in July, and I never. It's an amazing thing.
Well, now, what do you do? Do you exercise? Do you take supplements?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't smoke, and I don't drink at all.
Okay.
I exercise a lot.
Good.
I was a champion on a number of things during my life. I'm in the Hall of Fame for San Diego State University for basketball.
Oh my gosh.
I was Pacific Coast backstroke champion in swimming and went to the Olympics. And then I became a nationally famous handball player. And then I became an author, and I became a writer, and I do all these things without ever having a manager or an agent.
My God. That's probably why you were successful.
No, people have their own things.
Yeah.
There's no one reason why anybody's successful, except what's inside of you.
Yeah. Well, it's probably easier for me to ask what you haven't done instead of what you have done, because you've done so many different things.
I've been the voice of one of the biggest missionaries in the world, World Vision, and I have traveled with a camera crew to Africa and India and China and Russia and all other places, and made millions of dollars for them by filming what those undeveloped nations were struggling to do.
I have to ask you, you were in the beginnings of television when it was real, when it was live, when things happened, but you had the wonderful people like yourself, like Milton Berle, like Show of Shows, where they had people who came from radio and were stage and vaudeville who could actually handle anything. I mean, if the set fell in, they handled it. If people couldn't remember the lines, they handled it because it was live, wasn't it?
That's right. And, of course, those were all my best friends.
You bet.
I've lived through an era when Jack Benny and Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz and all the rest of the people were the big stars between 40 and 70. Mm-hmm. I was an intimate friend of people like Cary Grant, and so forth, and most of them are gone now. I don't know who these new people are.
Yeah. Well, do you watch any television today?
I only really watch sports, which I love, and I see how it. And I watch the newscasts. I'm astounded at the technical advances that enable us to put pictures of four men in four different parts of the world on one screen talking to each other at the same time.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the money that's available to do shows that are just astounding. But the bad thing, in my opinion, has been that it's become commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
very commercial.
And does it disturb you what you're seeing, especially with our young people today, and the use of drugs? And, we've got autism on the uprise. We've got, ADHD. They're on all kinds of Ritalin. It's scary what's happening out there. I would not want to raise a child today. It's scary.
It would be very, very difficult, and is, because of one thing. Just take the Internet.
That's an
example of what you're talking about.
Yes.
It's a wonderful device for some things, and it's just absolutely terrible in that it opens the doors to our young people to hear things and know things that they have no business knowing and thinking about.
Well, I call it the wild, wild west of the media simply because you can't control it. There's no control. And, at least on radio and television, there are certain things we can say and certain things we can't say, and we have to back them up. On the Internet, they don't have to back it up. Anybody can say anything.
Anything from anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's come along that's really something good and bad is cell phones. And all of the things that have gone into cell phones besides just calling up in a conversation.
You bet. Oh, you bet.
When you see the kids today, they have they're making their own movies in their basements, and they're getting together on things that they become adult too soon.
You betcha. You betcha. If you could step out and look back at Art Linkletter, and in just a few sentences tell me who Art Linkletter is. Not easy to do, I know.
It's not easy to do. One of the things that I'm very, very busy in and very concerned about, and I want to be remembered by, is the need to help the young people of today in so many ways. Drugs, I was in the drug world for 15 years after the death of my daughter, and was the chairman of the first National Drug Commission that President Nixon appointed some 35 years ago. And then now, at the moment, 1/3 of our children who are growing up in the United States are not even going to go finish high school.
Yeah.
When you think of that, when you think of the number of kids who are dropping out and going into a life of being unable to be as capable as they should be because they don't learn enough.
Right. Oh, this is amazing. You're an amazing man, Mr. Linkletter.
And so
really
those are worries of mine, and I lecture at many, many colleges. I have 18 honorary doctorates.
Oh, my gosh.
From 18 universities.
All deserved, I might add. All deserved.
I tell you, when people say to me, what does that actually get you? in life. I said, it gets me 18 letters every year from 18 universities asking me for money.
I love it. Mr. Linkletter, we're running out of time for this, and I thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this. May I say, please, I would love to have you back again. You are such an inspiration.
Well, thank you very much.
Would you come back and visit again?
Yeah, you call me again. We'll set up a date.
Dynamite. And I'm going to send you my book. I want you to read my book, too.
Is it the first one? The only one?
It's my first one. It's called Marilyn, Joe, and Me. It's about the old Hollywood through the eyes of June DiMaggio, the niece of Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I knew Joe pretty well.
Well, I got to have you kept back so you can tell me more, okay?
Well, I could tell you a lot more.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Stay well, please. We need you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Can you imagine? I was so honored to talk to this man because he is an icon. He had received a Lifetime Achievement Award, Daytime Emmy Award back in 2003. He has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The stuff that he did, I had no idea. I mean, I knew he did quite a few television things, but he did films too. There was a film called People Are Funny, Champagne for Caesar, The Snow Queen, No Greater Love. He did all those movies too, which that kind of surprised me. I didn't know he did movies. I always thought it was only television, Ken.
No, I knew he had done movies, and, he's an amazing man. And he said something that kind of surprised me.
What?
He said he did this without an agent.
Yeah, never had an agent.
So maybe his wife was on the phone every day calling people.
Somebody. Well, that's okay. It reminds me, I've never had an agent all my life, and I didn't miss it. Although it would have been a little bit easier because sometimes they do the front work and that type of thing. But I always like to be in charge of what I was going to be doing. And sometimes when you have an agent or a manager, you're not always in charge of doing that. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. You want to choose things and projects that you feel comfortable doing, not necessarily that someone else wants you to do. But I mean, his shows were just incredible. He even did things like on television, the Zane Grey Theater, the Danny Thomas Show, Wagon Train, Batman, Red Skelton, Here's Lucy. He did all those shows in addition to creating his own shows. That to me is absolutely incredible. I mean, that takes an incredible person. I mean, after his death, Phyllis Diller stated, and I thought this was a good one to say because he is gone now. In a couple of months, Art Linkletter would have been 98 years old. A full life of fun and goodness, an orphan who made it to the top. What a guy. And I guess that kind of says it all. So many of these people had very, very difficult upbringings and beginnings.
He was throwing mud at that wall and it was sticky.
Yeah. But he never stopped throwing. I mean, some of them were only like they lasted for a year. A lot of people would go, oh, it only lasted for a year. I don't want to do anything anymore. No, he would just turn around and create something else. and that's what I admired about not only Art Linkletter, but a lot of those people of that era. They did not give up, like his book, Old Age is Not for Sissies.
Yeah.
He just kept working to the end.
In this business, in television, there's 200 to 300 pilots that are produced every year.
Yeah.
And now a lot of them are getting Netflix, Hulu, and all that, but it's hard to get somebody to sign that check for 15 episodes.
Well, it's kind of interesting what he said about, he never knew on TV that you could have 4 people talking to each other, et cetera. Exactly what we're doing with Pop Star Talk on the computer, but still, it's that same way.
No.
But and the technology is changing. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with artificial intelligence as we go along.
Yeah, I've been privileged in 30 years to see amazing changes in technology.
You bet. Well, Ken, guess what?
Well,
Another amazing life of those who struggled to make radio and television what it is today, when live was the only way. I'm Mary Jane Popp with Ken and Greg, our engineer, hoping that you enjoyed hearing another icon in show business. And as always want to leave you with a positive look at life. Live simply, laugh often, love deeply, and above all else, dare to dream.
Produced by Audavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.